What's up, guys? Shane here from Team COG. Charles is taking a quick break from deck profiles today, so I'm coming at you with my Mekk-Knight Invoked deck profile. I've been tinkering with this for a while. I've been taking it to my locals. It didn't do too bad the last time I went. I only barely didn't make top 4. The last locals I went to, I ended up getting bumped out by an Altergeist, and I took 9th. So I actually took 9th in both locals I took it to. But it's a fun deck. I've really enjoyed playing with it. With the one locals, I lost to Sky Striker and the Lost World Dinos. The Lost World Dinos kind of just took me surprise, and he was a really good player with it. So that one really lost me a game. The Sky Striker player was really good too. I was actually sitting next to one of the feature matches during that. So yeah, I don't know, the deck's really fun. I really enjoy it with Mekk-Knight of the Morning Star, and I really enjoy it with Alistair the Invoker of Madness. I don't use Invoker of Madness as much as I end up using the Morning Star, but the both cards have some great usage in the deck, and it's an amazing deck for very obvious reasons. It doesn't quite hold up sometimes. I'm trying to put a new Sky Striker engine in it, but I don't really have the money to. There's a few more cards I want to try in it. There's a few cards I want to tinker with. The hand traps are feeling kind of weird, but for the most part, I'm really liking this build. It's pretty solid. So let's get right into it. We'll start off with the monsters like any good deck profile. First, we start off with the 3 of, the most important card in the deck. Well, your extra deck engineer, Alistair the Invoker. He's a great card, of course. He searches Invocation, which is a really important powerhouse of this deck. Yeah, nothing else to say about Alistair. He's just amazing. Moving on to the Mekk-Knights, we've got 3 Purple Nightfall. Purple Nightfall is really good. He is your biggest Mekk-Knight. He has the ability to dodge targeting effects. He can move stuff off the field that you didn't want in spots. He's really just a very good card. He searches any of your Mekk-Knights when you need them. Yeah, just great card. We've got 2 Blue Sky. This card's awesome as well. You can really capitalize on him going second for the first game. Once you know what you're playing, though, they're going to play around more with their zones. But if you're playing somebody who doesn't think you're playing Mekk-Knights, you end up making a lot of pluses with this guy. So he's really a very good card. 2's a little bit bricky. He's not a very big body, so I have some problems running him at more than that. I like him at 2, but he is very easy to play around for your opponent once shit hits the fan, I guess. So moving on to continue the Mekk-Knights, I have 2 Indigo Eclipse. I really like him at 2 because he's second biggest. He's very good for flooding the field. You basically special summon him, move him. You get another special summon because of the zone you opened up. So he's really good for optimizing OTKs. But he's a little bit bricky. I ended up with him in my hand a lot when I could have seen one of the other ones, or one with more versatility. But in the long run, I think I might cut one of them for a Ketchup or a Yellow Star. But he's good right now. I'm running 1 Mustard, Mekk-Knight Yellow Star. He's good. He outs your floodgates. Especially the spell stopping ones. Those ones really hurt you. You can't get your invoked engine running, and sometimes you have a hard time getting your Mekk-Knight engine working. So I ended up playing Altergeist a lot, surprisingly. They're a very hard matchup for this deck because once they main deck like Anti-Spell and Imperial Order, and it actually just wrecks. So it's a hard thing to get around, and with Yellow Star you can. The only problem I was having, the only thing I couldn't get around was I ended up running into Secret Village a couple times. and he can't hit the field spell. So if you're looking for more field destruction, the new Pranker Tops came out. I think I'm going to end up putting him in this deck. I don't know what I'm going to do for it, but he's definitely a very good card for the deck. I just don't know what I'm going to move around for that. That's all for the Mekk-Knights. So, Mekk-Knight and Alistair. So let's move on. We're talking hand trap lineup now. I originally was trying with the Gamma package, but in the long run I didn't really like the Gamma package. So I'm playing 3 Ash Blossom and Joy Spring, which is the best hand trap right now. Once that new hand trap comes out in Savage Strike, I think I'm going to be dropping one of the hand traps coming in later. Next I've got 3 Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. This card is amazing. She stops a lot of stuff. I ended up with her and on my hand a lot more. My problem this weekend was really I didn't see very many of the hand traps, even though I'm running 8 of them. I ended up not seeing them very much, so it didn't work out quite the way I was thinking. I think I might end up putting Drolls in, but I would have to mess with my extra deck space a little bit, which wouldn't be hard. I have a couple cards in there that I don't necessarily need. I'm running 2 Effect Veiler at the moment. He's a good card. He stops a lot of stuff, but he's not as versatile as some hand traps, but I think he's one of the better ones. That's pretty much all I can say. Infinite Impermanence would almost be better, but I can't afford that, and I don't have any intention of affording that. So, moving on. 3 Magical Meltdown. You can't run any less than this now that Terraforming's 2. You want to see Alistair as soon as possible. So drawing into either the field spell or Terraforming or an Alistair just dead draw Alistair is very important for the deck to get your Invoked engine running. Hopefully you see a Mekk-Knight or a hand trap with it. I had a problem when I was playing the Altergeist where all I saw was Invocation and I couldn't get to Alistair and I didn't have any monsters in my hand, so it was a rough duel. I definitely lost that one. It's actually going to be a feature match coming up soon, so tune in for that if you want to see how this deck actually performs. I've got 2 Invocation. Invocation's an amazing card. Everyone knows that. The fact that you can use your opponent's monsters from their graveyard just really schools some people. The only problem I had, I'm not running the Dark right now, and I really should have been, because I was ending up with not very much use for my Alistair Invocation, because I wasn't seeing the Mekk-Knights very quickly. I wouldn't boost the Mekk-Knights, or I might try and boost the hand traps a little bit, but other than that, like, they're not doing quite what I need them to be. So I might mess with the extra deck a little bit on that too. Next I'm running 2 Instant Fusion. Instant Fusion targets are Ragin, Millennium Eyes, and Thousand Eyes. Millennium Eyes is to get hand traps. If you're forced to go first, you end up with a Millennium Eyes. It's just a really good card. You can negate stuff. It's just a very, very good card. But Thousand Eyes is spot removal and Ragin's Interruption if you can find a way to revive him. And there's a lot of stuff you can do with Instant Fusion. Mind Control. Mind Control is really good spot removal. You can't get rid of the pesky things like Borreload, but without Nightmare Goblin around, there's not as much you need to worry about. It's just much stronger card since Nightmare Goblin's been hit. Borreload you can't hit, but there's a lot of cards in the game that you can, so I run 2. 2 Terraforming, you can't run any more than that. It searches Invoked or Meltdown, so it's pretty important. Pot of Desires, you need to neg 9 sometimes to +2. I don't know what you want, +1. We got 1-ofs. We've got the One World Legacy Succession. this is just a broken card. It's so easy to make Link 2s. I don't run very many Link 3s. I need to get a Nightmare Unicorn for removal, but other than that, like, it's very easy to make them, and it's searchable off of Mekk-Knight of the Morning Star. So I don't see any reason why not to play it. It's another target for Mekk-Knight of the Morning Star. It's just a really good revival card. World Legacy's Memory. This is a great card. You can end up chaining it to cards like Anti-Spell and... during one of the games I chained it to Anti-Spell, and then they chained Infinite Impermanence. And I forgot to chain Paratops, but it was great. I was able to bait out what I thought was planning on it to bait out. The only downside is you can only summon Mekk-Knights after it resolves. So if you end up with this in hand, you really have to play out your invoked plays well before you activate this. You can use it for backup, but it's not going to do you much once everything's gone through. So it's almost cuttable, I'd say, pretty easily. Another revival card, Monster Reborn. Monster Reborn is Monster Reborn. There's so many cards in this deck that you can reborn and have great advantage with. If nothing else, it's a spell to discard for Makaba, or Mekaba, however you want to pronounce it. But, I don't know, it's really great. The Book of the Law, it's a great card. It allows, it optimizes OTKs, but I've had quite a few times where I've actually just manually drawn it, and I've actually not needed it for that turn. It can brick you, but it can also win you games. I don't know. With Alistair, the Invoker of Madness, it's a really good card to search. I didn't find myself searching it very much. If I wanted to use Alistair, the Invoker of Madness, in fact, I ended up searching Invocation because I didn't need very much. I only did it the first turn, so Book of Law wouldn't have done me any good. Super Polymerization. Now this card I'm really torn on. On one point you can get rid of cards like Siliquies in Altergeist matchups, but there's a lot of times, and this is another thing I had problems with for not running the Dark. I ended up with nothing to fuse with, and if I run the Dark, I think I'd have less of a problem with this, in which case I think this card would be a really powerhouse card, but it has its problems, I guess you'd say. You end up breaking on it a lot more than you end up thinking it's gonna save you the life. Moving on, I only play one trap in the deck. You can guess what? It's World Legacy Secret. It's another revival card, but this one negates stuff in Mekk-Knight's columns. I actually utilized it one time, and it was a very good, very useful thing. So yeah, that's everything for the spells and traps. Spells and trap. So moving on, we've got the extra deck. We'll start with links. I've got, for link 1s, I've got Kangari. I have side decked Hornet Drones just for the extra thing. Didn't use it as much as I thought I was going to. Very easily cuttable. The engine got a lot smaller. I liked it when there was... I really liked the engine when there was multiples of... I really enjoyed the engine when you could use multiple Hornet Drones and search Hornet Drones, because it gained you a lot of advantage, but now it's easily cuttable. I would think about playing it, but I'd have to think on it quite a bit more. I'm playing 2 Mekk-Knight of the Morning Star. I end up going into this a lot more than Invoker of Madness, just because of the searchability. You do have to discard for his effect, but his column lineup effect and the fact that you won't take damage actually does help quite a bit. It'll help you in Crusadia matchups. It'll help you quite a bit. So moving on, you got the one Alistair, the Invoker of Madness. He's kind of a situation thing, but he is a very good extender sometimes. And then I've got one more Link 1, and it's Link Karibo for when you insta-fusion. Don't mind the fact that it's common. Shush, 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 child, shush. Nightmare, Cerberus, and Phoenix. I do want to get the Unicorn, but right now I have not. I kind of forget about it quite often. And then for the last Link, I'm running Borload Dragon. I was able to Borload out a really big monster. I can't remember quite what it was. It was a DDD monster. I think it was the new DDD fusion, actually. It was a very strong card, and it was backed up by that trap that boosts them for 1,000 on my turn. So he came in very handy. Moving on to the fusions, I'm going to start with the insta-fusion targets specifically. I'm running Thousand Eyes Restrict and Millennium Eyes Restrict. Millennium Eyes is the snipe hand traps. Thousand Eyes is to get rid of spot removal. Both of them work for spot removal, but he's more of a first turn option, whereas he's a second turn option. So I do enjoy having the option. Moving on, one more insta-fusion target, but it's also pretty useful, Invoked Ragin. You can use it with the Super Poly. It's just a very good, I'm side decking Droll and Lock, so you can use it with Droll and Lock. It's a very good card in general. The interruption capabilities are very great. Moving on, I have one Purgatorio and one Magellancia. Magellancia is just a big beater. Both of these basically are used for the OTK. You go through Purgatorio's massive destruction phase, and then you Book of Law into Magellancia, and you attack for game. It's just a great, simple combo. This whole deck's pretty autopilot, so it works out in the long run. And then I've got two Mekaba, or Mekaba, depends on how you like to say it. He's an amazing card. He's another reason I enjoy running Secrets, because if you don't have any reason to get rid of it, you can, or to set the Secrets, you can use it to stop traps if you think your opponent's running traps and stuff like that. It's just a great card. Everyone knows that. Everyone who runs Invoked know that Mekaba is an amazing card. So that's been it for the deck profile. I'm not really going to go into the... I also have two Called by the Grave. Yeah, I think I left that off to the side by accident. So, two Called by the Grave. I actually ended up breaking on this pretty bad. Sorry about that. But that's been the deck profile. Hope you guys have enjoyed. This has been Shane from Team COG. I'm going to work on a Noble Knight deck profile for you. I'm working on a few things. I was wondering if you guys would be interested in a Valkyrie deck. If you guys aren't interested, I'm not going to build it. It is very cool to me, but I'm not very interested. I'm interested to build a deck, but I don't want to spend the money that it would require to build the deck if you guys are not interested in the deck. I am building Noble Knights. If you guys are interested, I could finish my Magibullet build. I really do enjoy that deck, but I just have not had the time or the money right now. I've actually spent most of it on building and finishing this deck. But if you guys are interested in the Magibullet deck profile, or the Noble Knight deck profile, or the Valkyrie deck profile, you guys just comment down below. This has been Shane. Don't forget, go on ahead, and if you ever get the chance, go ahead to Scott's Bluff and support Team COG and Gametime Cards and Collectibles. We have our field centers for sale in the description below.